Ooh, apparently I'm live. Okay, I'm going to speak into the void in case I don't think there's anybody here yet. But we're going to go ahead and get started because I don't know how many people will be here live today. But hello, welcome to what I am calling Stories That Motivate. Basically, conversations between me and some of my amazing, amazing clients who I am so honored and blessed to have in my life, and so grateful that they trust me to help them do the things that they want to do and to love living their lives. So, today's honored guest is Sarah, who has been working with me for goodness, almost a year now. I am so excited to have her today as my first stories to motivate you conversation. So, I'm going to go ahead and welcome Sarah.
Hi.
Hello.
Hello. Thank you for having me as your
Thank you
first.
yes, thank you so much for agreeing to do this because this is a bit of an experiment, but we shall persevere.
Totally.
So, the first thing that I want to ask is basically who are you and what do you do? So, for people who are watching the replay or might jump in live pretty
Yep.
soon, tell us about yourself.
My name's Sarah. I'm currently a contractor for a small business, and I do all manner of things for them. I help set up their communications and organize some of the assets in their business. I do graphic design. I designed their website most recently. But in terms of the things I'm most passionate about, I consider myself a creative. I'm really passionate about children's content specifically. A lot of the things that are passionate to me have been bubbling up to the forefront in the past year. And so it's nice to identify myself by those things too.
Awesome. Thank you for sharing that. And then, since so many of the people I work with either have some combination of chronic illness, mental illness, neurodivergence, do you feel comfortable sharing where on that Venn diagram you fall?
Yeah, I have ADHD and probably other things that are undiagnosed. I have always just kind of uh, thought about things differently or, struggled in school and didn't really know why I was having trouble getting my assignments done. But ADHD is kind of like the big one that I've uh, had the most help in kind of reining in what the strengths are of that, most importantly, and how to kind of navigate with tools around the things that make it a little bit more challenging to situate myself in the working world and needing to make money and eat and have a fulfilling life. So that's the biggest thing that brought me to you.
Right. And I know you were actually a referral from another client of mine. Um, but what was it about my program that they shared with you that made you feel like, oh, this could be a thing that helps me?
That's a great question. Um, when that friend recommended you, I was just kind of in a place where I was losing faith in myself that I'd be able to keep discipline related promises to myself, and to others. So important, but the ones to myself were definitely the hardest. And I just was getting a little too used to having these really great creative ideas that I was super passionate about, but then that energy would kind of fizzle out somewhere along the line. And especially when it got to the really hard parts, and I just was at a really down place where it's very heartbreaking to lose faith in yourself that you'll follow through and create the great things that you want to create. And that's where I was getting to. I was just like having the ideas and then being like, well, because of who I am, it'll never happen. So
Right.
that was like a low. And
Yeah.
that's when that friend recommended me to you.
And I'm so glad and grateful that they did because it's been so wonderful getting to work with you and to help you and to see you grow. And I'm so proud of you. And yeah, this could just be a gush fest. This whole live stream.
I know you're
Um,
so great about that.
I am a mama bear.
Yeah. And I should say, when I found you also, I was equal parts desperate, like in that way of like, oh, I'm losing myself. But I was also skeptical because I had been this way my whole life. I uh, I had in kindergarten an assignment to go on a walk and pick up a rock on the walk. And I went on a walk and I didn't find a rock pretty enough or something. Like, I don't really know why I didn't pick up a rock, but I went to school and I was the only one in class that didn't have a rock. And I don't know, it feels like I've always kind of been this way where it's like, why didn't you just get the easy thing done? It's easy for everybody else. It was picking up a rock. I was smart enough to know I didn't have to go on a walk. I could just pick up a rock in the parking lot of the school. And I didn't do that either. So it just felt like this identity and like, how do you change that? And I was very pleasantly surprised. And yeah.
Yeah. Oh, thank you for sharing that story. Yeah, you've never
Yep.
shared that one with me before. That's like so
Oh,
interesting and such a like it's a sad memory and a sad story, but like it's so potent. Like it really shares that
yeah,
difference.
it's the easiest way for me to communicate the experience. It's not about intelligence or laziness. Like, I went on the hike. I did like the important part of the assignment. I just didn't grab a rock and like the whole day stressed about the rock. Like
Mhm.
let the rock be this thing. So yeah, it is a very illustrative way to communicate where the problem is, and it's not in the obvious places that people always point to, like intelligence or laziness. And you're like, okay,
Right.
okay, well,
Right.
hold on. Yeah.
Right. Exactly. So I kind of tend to like divide the things that I help with into a couple of things. There's like the planning, organization, just know what you need to do. And then there's the get yourself to do the thing you know you need to do or want to do, because those are equally important. So the organization and the task initiation. And then the third piece is that self care, self trust. And that umbrella I call holistic productivity. And I guess my question to you is before you started working with me, which one of those slices was the one you were struggling with the most and why?
Ooh. I really was at a downturn. Like, all of those things kind of reminded me of what I was experiencing. Um, I guess I would say, do you mind just repeating
Yeah.
how you phrased the first two? I'm sorry.
Yeah, it's okay. So like I've got the three slices under holistic productivity.
Yeah.
So that's the organizing and the planning,
Yeah.
your system, and then there's the task initiation, like get yourself to do the thing you know you
Oh,
want or need to do,
yeah.
and then there's the self care, self compassion piece.
I super was struggling with all three. I didn't imagine that. It really was. I guess the center one of, really trusting myself was the biggest hurdle. That was the biggest change that I had seen. That was my threshold of like, this is not sustainable. Like the negative self-talk and stuff, like, unfortunately, I think a lot of us are conditioned to be used to that. And I'm so happy to be able to identify that in myself now and kind of dispel it as I can. But yeah, what really sounded the alarm bells was that like follow through of like, okay, like I'm having the ideas and I'm even a pretty good organizer, especially for projects and other people's projects. Um, but yeah, I really just didn't know how to get myself to sit down and do the things that felt scary. They felt huge. I couldn't really articulate what about them was so hard. I think a lot of the people that I knew just weren't struggling with the same types of things. Yeah. Does that answer
Yeah,
it?
yeah, yeah, yes, it does. It was beautiful. Thank you so much for sharing. And I know this is like hard stuff to talk about. So again, I want to thank you for being vulnerable and showing up today to share your story, because I know it's going to change at least one person's life, if not many, in the long run, seeing themselves in you and being like, oh, maybe this can help me. So
Totally. That's why I'm here, honestly. So I needed the call too. I needed
yeah,
somebody to be like, this could help you. It
right,
helped me a
exactly.
lot.
Yeah. And another thing I'm curious about, because I don't think I've ever talked to you or maybe anybody about this, is one of the things that tends to be like a communication disconnect between me and the people I want so very much to help, is that I see that holistic umbrella, those three pie slices, but
Hmm.
I feel like in the spot where people need me the most, they're really only seeing the one, the lack of follow through. slice. So if you time travel back to Sarah right before you met me, were you aware of the other two pie slices, or was it just that follow through piece?
Mm, yeah. So I don't think I was aware of the third slice at all. Like I didn't even really recognize how important that would end up being in the whole, like it just seemed like that would be a privilege to get
Right.
to a place where I'm like kind to myself about it, and like, like I need, what really needed to happen was just two only. Um, but I do think I had some understanding of needing to kind of organize the path, even if I didn't, if I like taskified it too much, it like maybe wouldn't happen. But I knew how important that step was. I still struggled with it.
Mm-hmm. Gotcha. Cool. Thank you for sharing. It's like
Yeah,
I'm doing science. So this is a big doozy question, and I expect it to be like a meandering answer kind of conversation. But like,
cool.
how did working with me, and how does working with me, because you're still one of my clients, and yay, how does that positively impact you?
So off the bat, the first thing that really sits with me is how amazing you are at modeling everything you teach. I think that's really understated, and I don't expect you to be the one saying it, but that's why I'm saying it, is
Thank
because you
you.
do such a great job embodying your teachings in a way that I can actually visualize it. I can see what it would look like on me. And, just like in terms of boundaries and what your time availability is, and like that being an important component with like structuring your life, saying no to things and doing that kindly to yourself and others, um, holding yourself accountable, and but balancing that with like kindness towards yourself. And um, that's been such a gift to see myself so much in another person. Like I trust with all my heart that you genuinely understand what I'm going through, because I believe that you went through something similar. And to know that you're now like putting regular content up on multiple platforms and coaching lots and lots of people. I don't know how many anymore. The team has grown
I've
since I've
lost
been there.
count,
I
and I
have
try
lost
not to
count.
think about it too hard, because then the anxious part of me wakes up.
Hello. Meaning, yeah, but you do a lot and they're creative. And I know you're doing other projects other than things under the Accountability Muse umbrella. And I'm sure like it's like that's inspiring to me to know that you can like follow through with things and have a brain like mine and have other types of limitations or strengths that also that just maybe work a little bit more challengingly in our current world. Like
Mhm.
you do a great job of showing us that
Thank
it's
you.
possible.
Thank you. Of all the tools that I've taught you, which one is like your golden tool that you fall back on the most?
Ooh. I mean, just even like the awareness of what you call the Swiss Alps. I realized that that was a real sticky spot for me. Like I was really getting tripped up there often. And so the Swiss Alps being that moment when you're looking at a task in the distance and you see this mountain range that you have to amp yourself up a little bit to climb it. Like you can't like sneak attack like, oh, I'm gonna just climb a mountain today. Like there's levels of organizing preparation that goes into um, getting ready to tackle something that you're perceiving as challenging. Like if this applies to me for all manner of tasks. And I think there's a difference between simple tasks and easy tasks. And like not all simple tasks are easy. And so I give myself now the grace of like taking a look at it and trying to demystify what we call the Swiss Alps. Feel free to jump in and actually like define this in
Oh no,
Cassie ways, because
I
I
like doing teasers, and I love hearing how you explain it. So please
cool.
continue.
Yeah. Um, yeah, just giving myself that moment has been a tool. Like I don't know if you even classify it as a tool, but I
Mhm.
I use it like, okay, I'm in the Swiss Alps right now. What do we do when we're in the Swiss Alps? And I give myself a lot of grace, but I'm also like trying to be the person who I want to be. So I'm holding myself accountable to like, I know it feels this way, but like, let's look at our past experiences and like, how have we gotten through this? And was it ever as bad as we thought it was? And like, how can you like transform into a person that is about to go on the Swiss Alps? And sometimes that's physical. It's like putting on something cozy because it's cold and you want to be warm there. Like you'll do better if you like physically insulate yourself and emotionally insulate yourself. And yeah, that's the one I always go back to.
Oh, yeah. I love because one of my other favorite like YouTube channels is How to ADHD with Jessica McCabe, and she talks about the wall of awful a lot, the wall
Of a
of
lot.
awful a lot.
That is
And
true.
basically, the Swiss Alps is how I describe that wall of awful. And I like it because it offers more nuance and more variation based on your circumstances and the task in front of you. Instead of it just being a wall every single time, it's always just a little bit different, maybe a little bit harder or maybe easier on other days, but
The
there
Swiss
can be more
hills.
variety. The Swiss hills. Some days it's a hill, some days it's a mountain. And I often say, sometimes pits of despair.
Yeah.
Yeah. So here's an interesting question. If you think about the past year, how have you exceeded what you thought was possible within a year?
Whew. So the most transformative thing that I have experienced has been kind of my new inner voice. That's like a big, that's huge. It's a huge gift. My inner voice is completely transformed. I don't know how aware I was of my inner voice, but she was kind of abusive. She wasn't practicing self-care. She wasn't talking to herself the way that like she would talk to literally anybody else in the whole world. And especially not children. And like, I have an inner child. We all do. And, I wasn't honoring myself with my inner voice. And something that I've gotten out of this program that's like just changed my life, that even when I'm not as active in the Discord and in the community, this is always with me and I will literally never lose it. I know this is my ability to talk to myself with kindness and use a voice of like accountability, but also understanding. And I talk to myself the way I would want to be talked to now. I'm understanding. I don't have to like hide from my thoughts so much anymore. I used to think of my mind as like a garden that was overgrown and super untamed, and like there was a lot of like strangeness in it, like stranger danger in there, where I just didn't know what I was like. I didn't trust myself in there to know that it was safe and that it was my garden and I could like maintain this space and like put love into it and it will bloom and blossom into a beautiful thing. It was just kind of like a scary, scary garden. So huge gift.
Oh, that was making me tear up. That means so much to know. Thank you for
I'm
trusting
glad you
me
know it
with
then.
your journey. Like, oh my goodness, because I yeah, that's the gift I want to give everyone. That's a really amazing way of illustrating like the point of what I do.
Totally.
Because yeah, whew.
I mean, I can tell you there like since joining Accountability Muse, I still have unproductive days. But what I don't have is like hatred for myself about them. Like, oh, whew, goodbye.
Oh,
Do not miss
that's
it.
transformative. Oh my goodness. So if you did have to like let's put you in salesman Cassie shoes. If you were in an elevator and you had to give an elevator pitch to
Whew.
someone,
Okay.
like one, what qualities would you say identify someone who would love working with me? And two, how would you explain to them what I do? And I realize this is totally off the cuff. I'm just like super
Yeah.
curious what
Yeah.
language you would use.
Okay. So I think being creative is like a real thing that connected me to the group. I mean, I'm answering this for the group as a whole, but I think you asked the question just about you. But I think that you've attracted people in the creative realm, and so that's very important. I think somebody who's like at that cusp of like knowing that there's more, that there's like definitely like something that you're missing. That's just like there's a lock and you're just looking for the key to turn it. Um, that's kind of where I was. And there were so many years before that that I don't know if I would have been the right fit for the program because I just wasn't aware that I was even struggling. Like I just thought that I was, I don't know, like on the outskirts of something. It took a level of self-awareness to be like, no, I actually need help with this. Like I think I have a learning disability. Like I had to learn some of that stuff. Um, I don't think that having a learning disability specifically or anything is like a prerequisite for working with you, but um, for me, it was like a big breath of fresh air to find belonging um, in a space where I don't usually have, like, I'm usually pretty quiet about this stuff. And I don't know. Um, the program, okay, business shoes, we're selling the program. It's like a place where you can safely show up and you can still safely show up for yourself in tasks that feel dangerous. Like if they feel dangerous in one part of your life, there's a space that you can safely talk about it. Like if you are like super behind on it on a project and you're like, oh, project's coming along great. And you're like, not, the project's not coming along great. Like there's a place where you can be like, guys, I've been telling everybody this project's coming along great and it's not. And I don't know why. And know that you'll be greeted with understanding. And there's something about that that for me like breaks the spell of what that like the power that that task or that project has. And like you're great at breaking things down into like bite-sized chunks. And like I know that if I just show up, if you and you and you and you just show up, this is my sales manager. um, just show up. That like that will be the actual next step to getting to where you're trying to go. And that's like a real thing, talking
Oh,
about it. Yeah.
yeah, yeah. I work so hard to ensure it's a safe space, and I'm so glad, even though it's growing, it's continuing to be a safe space because that is so, so important to me. Um,
Totally.
so, besides that safety, that ability to show up and actually talk about something hard and scary and to get the validation and support and tools you need to move forward. What else would you say is different about what I do from maybe what you see available in the productivity or self-care or mental health space these days?
I mean, I honestly haven't seen a program like yours anywhere where it's kind of like if you were a kid, like what you really, really want somebody to like really just help you with this problem, like that's what you do. You know, like I can schedule my laser call with you and be like, I haven't done my work assignment and I need to make this Notion page, and you will like literally sit and help me figure out what the next steps are for that. It's an environment where like people can body double with you. So if like this has helped me a bunch of times, like there's just a task and doing it alone is hard. There's people there to just like straight up be there with you and do the task with you live time. Um, I just don't know of any other program that's like that where you build like trust in the system enough that like you're actually building trust in yourself and you don't really realize that till you're like halfway through. But
I like
like
being sneaky that way.
it's so sneaky. And it's true because because the showing up is like what my actual hurdle to jump through is. And so if I can show up and there's like no consequences and there's nothing, you know what I mean? Like there's nothing tough about just being honest, because there's not going to be any backlash. There's nobody there to scold you or to like kind of try to fit you in a box.
Mhm.
Um, yeah, that like breaks the spell. It breaks the spell for me.
Yay. Yay.
Yay.
It's funny, there's the past me who is in my darkest place is like hanging out with us today.
Oh,
And
welcome.
she's just like, I mean, it's from a humble place, but I just can't believe that I created something that does this, because that means so much to me. And like at one point in time, the words that you're sharing with me today were just words that I would journal, and I would hope that I could provide that for someone, and to now be able to do that for many people and to continue to do so. Like I brought 2 new people into the program over the past few days, and I'm just so excited to see their journeys start unfolding. And there was a time when I didn't think this was possible for me, and I'm like, yes, I'm doing this to change my own life, but to see how much it's impacting others in such an amazing way is beyond my wildest dreams. So
I'm so proud of you.
it
I
feels,
like
thank you.
the modeling thing is real. You're a true inspiration to me, is all I can say. Like I'm so grateful to just know somebody who's struggled and has figured out the steps to overcome it, and has like the heart and the quirkiness and the silliness that you have, that is like the perfect way to share it with the world. I feel very
Thank you.
grateful.
Thank you. How would you describe my personality for those who maybe have only seen my YouTube videos? Be as
Like
honest as you want to
authentic.
be. Just go for it.
Oh yeah, okay. Um, Silly voices, impromptu all the time. Um, just like authentic, super kind, gonna say what's on your mind. Um, like motherly, like you kind of, I feel like whatever work you have done to like talk to yourself and your inner child, do so beautifully, do for other people. And yeah, you're fun. You're a fun, silly lady.
Yay. I try. Because, like, in my other life as a dance teacher, I joke that, like, the humor is part of the teaching. Like, you'll remember this random specific piece of technique because I told a terrible joke to explain it to you. But
That
that's
does
kind of
work.
the same humor that I bring into my coaching as well. And it's just, I love that you all accept me for my craziness.
I think it helps everybody bring their authentic selves too. You know what I mean? Like when I'm in the group, I'm just so honest in ways that I like don't show up to in work meetings. I'm not like being my goofiest self there. And I think you definitely create a nice, safe environment for everybody to show up with what they are.
Warm and fuzzies. Today is the day of warm and fuzzies.
Yes. Yes.
Thank
I'm glad to be giving you some warm and fuzzies. Obviously, all the things,
you.
all the gifts that I'm saying you have given me through your work are, this is just the smallest way I can repay you, and giving you a little
Thank
taste
you.
of how
Thank
much it's
you.
meant to me.
uh, all right. So, let's see. I'm just double checking my list of
Yeah, yeah, yeah.
questiones.
Do your thing.
Uh, so, are there any results besides the inner voice thing that you weren't necessarily expecting to have from working with me, but you ended up having anyways?
Yeah, I didn't realize how much discipline I was just straight up lacking. Not in a self-deprecating way, but in a way where I just don't think I learned it growing up. Not to get too deeply into things, but there's not a really a question why that is. And so I kind of in this program faced myself with the task of kind of going through the reparenting myself and giving myself some discipline. And it's very hard. I'm not like perfect at it, and I don't expect myself to be yet, or ever, but definitely I'm way better. I get my butt in the chair now. It's amazing. But I think just like a tangible result of that is I have like concrete work hours. I mentioned I'm a contractor, so I've always had really flexible hours. And I always worked to have really flexible hours. Like I really advocated for myself to have creative, flexible hours because like I need these windows of time. And I don't know when the creativity is going to strike me. And the truth is that I wasn't showing up often enough for the creativity to strike. Like it's not going to strike me when I'm doing other things often. So the discipline of like having structured time that I work and structured time that I do other tasks. I now in my contractor job, like my coworkers can rely on me to be at my desk for the correct hours. And I work outside of those hours when I am inspired to, but I get so much more done, even as a creative, even as somebody who like likes that flexibility and craves it. Like the structure helps me. It helps me feel creative and inspired and connected to the rest of the team. And I was so fearful of that discipline, I guess. Like I just didn't know I needed it. It seemed like a cage. It's not.
Yeah. Oh, and I'm just so stinking proud of you.
I know
Like,
you are. It's big progress. I mean, if you guys knew me before.
I can't wait until the day comes that my business has grown to the point where I can start spoiling all of you. And just
I
like
already feel
randomly send
spoiled.
I want to randomly send y'all gifts and stuff in the mail. Like you're just minding your own business. And then you get like
some of your
a
makeup.
weighted stuffy on your door. Or like, yeah. And a note for me be like, you're killing it. Yeah. Like
That's really cute.
that's what I want to do. So I think the last thing, or maybe not the last thing, but we're getting there. I want to talk about
However long it takes.
however long.
I'm here.
Is the idea, because this is something you've experienced, but others who have also been with me a long time, there tends to be these lulls or falling off the wagon kind of thing. And I'd like you, if you're willing, to share the experience of any of those periods where you've kind of been MIA working with me, and how coming back can be so powerful and that it's safe too.
Totally. That's so great because I think like the when I joined, there was a very slow startup period for me. If you remember, I was like
Yeah.
I was like gun shy. I was afraid to show up for myself still. I didn't really know what it looked like. And once I learned what it looked like, I felt like obsessed with it. Like I was passionate about it and it felt like this huge driving force in my productivity. And I think something that I noticed was that, like, wrapped in this accountability and like these really concrete skills that help me with my work, I was also much more than I expected working on mental health type things. That inner voice, all of that. I just consider just maintenance mental health, not anything even out of the ordinary, just stuff I think all people should work on. And I think like there are times where I was focusing a little bit too much. Like I got good at listening to myself and I started feeling that I was doing too much like self-care work at once and maybe needing to like actually focus on the project that I was doing instead of like how do I get myself to the best mindset possible. And I just think that there is some level of diminishing returns when you're focusing on inside your head too much. Like you can't be in there too much. And like it was great that I got there. And so there have been times where I pull back a little bit and like don't do my mental health check-ins and like it at first it felt a little bit like, oh no, I'm like dropping this thing that I love. Oh no, I'm doing the thing where I'm dropping the thing, and now I'm going to lose it, and it's going to be just like all the other times. And something that's so magical about Accountability Muse is that like I said with such confidence that my inner voice stays, like it's going to stay. And that's kind of how Accountability Muse as a place feels to me, where it's like it is still there and it's still the kind space that it is. And so when I noticed that not checking in with myself was like kind of swinging the issues to the other direction, I didn't feel like there was any judgment of like, well, where have you been? We missed you. Like, what were you, I mean, people miss me.
Right. Yes.
But I just mean
There's
there
no
wasn't the
shame
guilt.
there.
There wasn't shame or guilt associated with it. I've always been really appreciative of you and how you like personally are just like, hi, I'm just checking in and want to see how you're doing. And like, I feel I mean, I'd be lying if I didn't say like that originally would trigger a little bit of like, oh no, I'm letting somebody down, and oh, I disappeared from a thing and they're all wondering where I am. But like you've done an amazing job of convincing me and reassuring me that like this is just because you care, and that you are here and you're curious about how I'm doing, and if there's anything that you can do to help me, that you are there. And I think I will, I'm still kind of, I swing of too much effort into one direction, then I swing to the other. And I think that's what my like long-term journey with Accountability Muse will be like finding that equilibrium, that good balance. And I don't have the expectation that I'll just like live in perfection at the end. Like that's not what I'm even like hunting for. But that I will get closer to swinging, keeping my focus in multiple places at once without it being like all in mental health. Like that's a lot. So yeah, giving myself that diversity and balance.
Yeah.
Balance is the word.
Yes. Yes. I think. All right. I think I've got 2 more questions left. So, first one, compared to before working with me, do you enjoy living your life more?
Yes. Wow. That's a great question. And it's so obvious too. I was like absolutely miserable. I like I said, it was a low time. It's not like I've always been just like, oh, I can't figure out my life. But as a whole, the tools and gifts that I have now, like happiness is just like the surface of it. Like I feel like I understand what happiness is deeper. Like I feel like I know what happiness is to me deeper. I know like what my expectations are, and like I understand my consciousness more. Like I understand my inner child more. There are things about that are sometimes scarier, like seeing your place in the world, zooming out, and like what value you want to add, and all of that can feel overwhelming. But like, would I ever go back? Not in a million years. Like this is red pill territory.
Yes.
Yes,
Yes.
for the nerds.
I am Morpheus. So I think the last question is, if you could time travel and talk to the Sarah before working with me who was hesitant and anxious about it, what did she need to hear to know that it was the right decision to go forward with working with me?
I think because we just did the matrixy thing, I'm just kind of I want to be like, she's one of us. She's one of us. You can trust her. But also just like the show up, like I don't think I was realizing how important just the act of showing up was. I kind of even had lost hope that I was going to show up. Like I told you, I was really struggling to trust that I was going to keep my promises.
Right.
And this felt like another opportunity to break a promise to myself and pay for it too. And Like, I think what I learned right off the bat is showing up will set you free. Like, I think you kind of learn what you need to show up for once you do, but to have a place to show up, like, just I wish I could communicate this to past self. I wish I could communicate it. Yeah, how important that is to take take the jump for me. Like, I was there where I was looking for something, and I told you I was skeptical, and I was like, so how many hours do you get with each person? Like, I was like really trying to poke holes in what this program
Right.
was because nothing's ever worked for me, and I was looking for it. Um, and I just, I, I wish I could have just trusted it a little sooner. I think I lost a month, but who cares about that month where
Okay.
I was just like not active at all in the servers. And you reached out and you're like, hey, anything I can do? And I was just like, I don't know. I don't know these people. I'm a very private person. I don't know. Like, I didn't know how to share it. And yeah, I learned how to let it go really, really fast and to show up. But that's what I would tell myself earlier on.
Oh, showing up will set you free. I
Yeah.
love that so much. Thank
I
you.
learned it pretty quickly though. So it's like
Yeah, and it's one of those lessons that can be hard to remember in a way that changes your behavior for the long run
yeah,
because there are so many like little tools or little things that we change, and when we manage to do those things, we know we're better. But there's something about making them stick that can be so hard. And what I've
yeah,
found is it's that relational element that is often missing for people to actually have that a safe place with other people who get it, who are safe and who just understand without you having to explain yourself. And that unconditional kindness and compassion and validation. And so that way you're not doing
totally.
it alone.
Yeah, I think I felt like I had all these dark, dark secrets all the time. That was like it was a full-time job, just like keeping up these like things that I wasn't doing as well as I said I was doing or thought that I was, I don't know, like imposter syndrome. Even the things that like weren't, that's not even the case. I was still feeling that way. I was still feeling like I wasn't enough.
Mm-hmm.
And I got so much validation of the things that I was doing, both like inside and outside. Like, I got validation on the projects, my work projects that I was doing, that they were good. And I was like, like, it's just nice to hear this in a not work setting.
I still
But
remember the day you shared the website when it was done, and like we all went bonkers. It was
it was so nice.
so amazing,
And
and
I
I
so
think
didn't
all of
expect
us
it.
were like, "Take my money," because it
It
was
was
a
really nice.
e-commerce website. So yeah, I should have forwarded my pin today. I should have done that. Well,
All
next time.
good.
Anyways, thank you so much for everything you've shared today, for your time, and just for being you. I still am so honored and grateful that I get to be in your life and vice versa. So
Totally. Thank you
thank
all.
you. Is
Anytime.
is there anything else that I haven't asked you about or that you want to share before we call it a day?
Oh man, I bared my
You
heart
did. You
so
did.
deeply. I don't know if I'm sure I'll think of 10 things that I wish I said after this
It's
stream is
okay.
over. That always happens, but off
That's
the top,
okay.
I feel like we
Um,
did a good job.
Yeah, yeah. And if anybody watching the replay has like a question for myself or Sarah, feel free to like drop them in the comments and we'll get them answered.
Totally.
And yeah, thank you so much. I think I'm gonna remove your face and do a ending spiel. Does that sound good to
Goodbye.
you?
Sounds great.
Okay, thank you so much. I'll talk to you when I end the live streams.
Yeah,
Don't go anywhere.
later, later.
Oh my goodness, that was so I like tearing up. That was so amazing. So again, thank you, Sarah, for doing this with me today and for being my first to do this with me. So amazing. And for those of you who may be new to me or have been in my YouTube sphere for a while, the primary way to work with me now is through my signature course called the Action Navigator. It's an 8-module course, but the thing is, it's basically my coaching brain externalized, so you can become a mini me, essentially. And the thing that's really important is I know that this is a lifelong journey, the stuff that I help my clients with. And so even though it's a course, it comes with lifetime access to weekly coaching calls with me, my wonderful Discord server that Sarah was referring to a lot. And like, I'm in it for the long haul with each and every one of my clients. And even as the program grows, I am committed to making sure that every one of my clients gets the help from me that they need. So the agreement I've been making with everybody I've been onboarding recently is like, do you promise to let me know when you're struggling so I can help you? Because I can't help if I don't know. And yeah, so I will, in the replay somewhere below, it's probably going to be on YouTube. It's probably going to be in the description box below, a link to go and sign up to hop on a Zoom call with me if you want to learn more about the program and see if it's a good fit for you. So yeah, thank you all so much for joining, and for everyone watching the replay. I see you. If you're going to hop on my calendar soon, I can't wait to meet you. Yeah, show up. It'll set you free. Mwah.